Well, hello there, Amanda. How are you?
I'm fine.
We're open for business.
My gosh, I mean, you've opened a big old door.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing small about this place. Come on in.
Come on in.
The water's
fine. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it.
Look at this.
I love these little buggies you got now.
Oh, I know. Thanks to Will. He ordered them for us. Look at this. Look at our foam. Look, this is what's inside here. Look here. Popcorn.
Oh,
That's 1/4 inch foam pellets that we'll be putting in all of our floor systems here.
Can I show how much of it's gone?
Yeah, Mike and Pete were working day before yesterday. I helped Mike a little bit yesterday.
Oh my gosh. It's all, Mount Foam is almost gone.
Yes, and we're gonna,
Thank goodness.
I'm gonna open that up. We were actually thinking this morning if some of our residents that want to come over here and work a couple days and want to put that together, give us a call. You got my cell phone, whatever, email. Come on over here and we'll be glad to pay you.
It's almost done.
Yeah, it's just take a couple days. We're going to be way ahead of the game. Let me show you a little bit now that we're talking about foam. Yesterday, John Harrison, we purchased this hopper.
Oh my gosh.
So this is like a livestock feed hopper, and it's not really all that heavy. It's steel and everything, but this has got a chute. See the chute on the bottom?
Yeah.
Can you see it opening up?
Yeah.
All right, so we got this device that'll fit on that, and it goes down to a hose that'll hang down. So we're going to mount this up on the ceiling.
Oh.
Up on the ceiling inside.
Okay.
And so our vacuum system will be up in the attic. It'll suck up from our chipper up there, dump into here, and all the guys just pull a valve and they can just fill the floor up.
No.
So no more foam laying around.
What?
It'll be hoppered, cleaned. Yeah, see the debris out here? We don't want any of that. This will all be vacuumed up and cleaned up and stuff.
Yuck.
Take care of it. And that's the hopper of our foam. So every day this will be filled and filled and filled and filled.
I love it.
And we use it.
Great.
Yeah. We're getting there, everybody. We're turning this whole thing into a streamlined factory. As you can see, we have 5 homes in our line.
Yes.
We've got a floor ready for the walls. Look, the walls are already on the side of the on our patterns.
Yep.
We got jigs. Come on, let me just show you. Get a little bit closer. Here's another floor system getting ready to be framed.
This is awesome. Now this just picks up and it gets flipped over onto that trailer, right?
Yeah, we've got a lift system up here.
Oh yeah.
It comes down, lifts the house, flips it over, puts it on the trailer, goes over there. They wire and plumb it now. And after the wire and plumb it, that big hopper will sit up there up on the ceiling.
Okay.
And you just open the valve and you just fill this whole thing full of insulation.
You know what? This has changed leaps and bounds since you started, because you can put everything down on paper and that's exactly how it's going to go. But until you really get in here with real people and real everything going on, the placement of stuff is the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where do I put this? I turn around and what's the most efficient way, right?
Yeah, and we're still not, like I said, the foam is one of our last things that we're doing.
Wow,
of course,
look how much.
Look at all these foam. And this will go really quick because it takes I think 6 to 8 bags to do one house. So, we got
6 to 8. Oh, it'll be gone in no time.
In 3 or 4 homes, it's gone. Yeah. So one day this is gone.
Overgone.
So our thing, the guys are saying, hey, what about the foam? I said, well, listen, if we have to have foam, we'll grind up more, and make it happen.
Okay.
So that's where we're heading. Over there is our water. We've done this before on our videos and stuff, but the water, the sewer, water lines and the plumbing and everything over there, the electrical. And then we move the house. We got more bags here. So you can tell we got to get our hopper set up first thing tomorrow so we can get it set up, mounted, and go,
Yeah.
And then this floor, what I like about what we're doing here is we're putting the vinyl floor down on top of our subfloor, right?
Yes, that was a great
Of course, this is a 2x6 floor system, as you guys can see there. So this is a 2x6 floor system. That hopper will be up in the ceiling, and it'll have a hose, and we can just fill this thing up.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm sure that's going to have some tweaking just to get the system down to see if it's going to be efficient or not. Then the house goes here, and we put the subfloor on, and as soon as the subfloor is on, as you can see, we put these metal brackets on here.
Yes.
Now, these are our 90-degree angles, and when we set the wall, here's our crane.
Yeah.
And there's our suction.
Wow.
that sucks onto the house, onto the wall, spins around, sits here, and we screw it onto here.
So much safer. Everybody's picking them up before. Needed a bunch of guys together to pick them up until you figure out a system.
Isn't that awesome?
To do it, yeah.
So then we screw them onto here. Then we put see this vinyl?
Yeah.
This vinyl floor goes on before the walls go.
Great idea.
Now this is a rolled vinyl floor.
Yes.
That's a pattern. We tape it on so it protects the finished floor until we're completely done.
Great.
Then we roll it up, bring it back here, and use it again.
Oh wow.
So every single house has got this vinyl floor on it to protect the finished floor.
Yeah. Now I'm liking this. This is the first time I've seen this. So this isn't on a skid, but this is on this rolled.
Yeah, and they may be using that kind of temporarily right now because what's happening is if the walls get built before the floor is ready to set them, they're going to take that crane and set the walls on here.
I see.
And they can go to build them more.
They can do another one.
Yeah.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, and these are
my gosh.
These are our panels. The only really technical thing we've got to do is our router that gets this 45-degree angle. We've got the motors just came in Friday.
Yeah.
We'll be putting that together tomorrow, and we're actually going to put 2 router systems together so we can router our panels quicker.
That's awesome. So what's the biggest challenge right now to keeping panels in here? Keeping them, is that the longest process? Is the routering or? What gets you held up?
Not really. Amanda, we thought it was going to be from the trailer to the floor system. Guys got it down.
Oh, they got that down.
Then we thought it was going to be the trim. We had a hard time with the trim.
I heard that.
We got that down.
My God.
Chris come on there. He took over the mechanizing of the trim. So all the trim is the same width, same length, same everything.
Okay.
And they cut out the holes for the electrical and everything.
So they got that figured out.
Within half a day, he had built enough trim to do 10 homes. Half a day.
So start to finish right now, how long does it take to do one house? What did Lucas say?
So we haven't done it long enough to get a consistent time frame.
Right.
We've went from 16 hours to build one house to 9 hours and 45 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Now, so our job, my goal was under 10. So if we can get consistency on 3 or 4 homes at 9 hours, 9 to 10-hour times, we're approaching the 5 homes a day goal.
Wow.
That I wanted to do. I know some of the guys.
That's exciting.
Well, they were talking, James and some other guys. He might be watching. James works here.
Hey, James.
And we were talking, and he said, when I walked in here, I thought, man, to build 5 homes a day, that is unheard of. It is not going to happen. He said, I just didn't think it could happen. And I told all the guys, when I walked in here and I seen it all, and I thought, I thought, it's almost an impossible task to get 5. But I said, I'm going to keep trying.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it. I couldn't see visually how it could go. I just felt something in me. I said, I know we can do 5. I just know we can, but I don't know how, but we're going to do it. And I just kept that in my head.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like climbing Mount Everest barefooted,
Yeah.
And
and it felt like that in the beginning because whenever it's like, there was many a day that your head goes down to like, oh my gosh, we're not going to make
it. Was one thing after another after another.
Out.
So we look back on our videos, and I mentioned this a couple days ago. 4 days we were celebrating one house.
Yeah.
Now it's 4 houses in 1 day.
In 1 day.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
One thing that we forgot to do, we forgot to say Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, you need to cut this, edit it, put it in front.
Put it in the front. So
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Exactly.
As you can see, the warehouse is empty. You guys are at home celebrating the 4th of July. And we thought we'd come and give us a boost video on our debut of our solar Incred-I-Box, which is an independence home celebrating Independence Day to give you independence. And let me elaborate now on our solar package that we brought to you guys, Friday, right?
It was on Friday.
It was on Friday. Today's Monday.
Great response.
We've had a lot of people calling in, a lot of people asking questions. And remember, if you're interested in this house, it's $25,000 off-grid home. Now, when I say off-grid, it's just the solar. It does not include the compost toilet, does not include a tankless water heater or a water catchment. It's the solar. Now, it is a beautiful solar. We had somebody call in and said, hey, is it an iron phosphate lithium battery? We heard that they're really safe. Now, Lucas, who is our technician behind the solar division of this, plus this whole place. He never wanted to do lithium before. He knew of the lithiums, but they were never UL listed. UL listed is they're insured, all right? That they've been tested and they won't catch on fire and they're safe. So finally, this iron phosphate lithium battery now is encapsulated in a steel box. So the fire protection is really up there. I am not a technician on solar. I don't know a lot about solar. I've left that to Lucas, and we did the video on Friday, and he was able to explain a lot to that. Now, I'm going to be an expert on it because I love solar. I'm putting it in my own home. I know the panels that we have here, the panels can come into us between 330 to 350 watts. That means that's the potential it can put out. Now, a watt in solar, that's the maximum. If you get 80% of that, 90% of that, you're doing really well. You know, it doesn't put out 350 to 330 watts constant. The sun may be angled a little up there, it may be a little overcast at times. You may be in the shade part of the time. But the way he designed, the way he explained the panels, which are right over here, let me show you, is that before the panels, if they were partly shaded, they wouldn't produce any electricity.
Right.
These, the ones they have now, is that they will produce electricity part in the shade, part in the sun, a tree's whipping on it, and it's got...
That's great.
It's the technology's getting better and better. These panels are about 6 foot by 40 inches, 72 by 40. We can get 4 panels on an Incred-I-Box. So these are the panels going on the Incred-I-Box. So if you take, let's say 300 watts per panel, even though they're rated higher than that, that's 3, 6, 9, 1,200 watts that can be produced with these panels, right? So all day long, if you're not home, these panels are producing. And that's why he said if you had a 5,000 watt, right, I guess, and I don't know how the consumption works per hour, per minute, per whatever.
Right.
These will produce enough that if you're using any of your electrical devices during the day, it'll function all these and won't drain your battery.
Right.
Now you can turn everything on, a heating and air system, and you can turn it, and you're going to use more than what's coming in.
And how many do you get on
You get
an
4.
8x16?
You get 4 of these panels.
4 of those panels?
Yes.
Are we going to install them on the roof?
Yes.
Okay, we will install
We install
those
these.
on
Everything is
there.
installed on the roof. Everything's ready to
Okay.
go. The lithium battery's installed.
Yep.
The inverter.
It's actually still sitting here.
Yeah, this is the inverter, charge controller mixed together. So these are 2 together. Midnight Solar is a real reputable business that we buy these things from. It won't necessarily look like this right here.
Right.
We've got a couple different switches. But what I love about this is, let's say you're hooked to shore power and a lady called and said, hey, I'm going to plug this into the grid,
Okay.
but I want to use this. And one of them, I think, was going to live here on the prairie or the beach. I said, that's perfect, because what you can do is it'll use this, your lithium battery, up until it's bottomed out. It'll automatically shift over to on-grid power.
Okay.
You don't even have to worry about
So you can be hooked up to on-grid power and not be using it until
Yes.
this goes empty.
You got it.
Right. And
Yeah.
can you run this all the way down to the...
A lithium battery,
You can.
You can.
Okay.
The old carbon, not old, but the carbon batteries, you cannot.
You cannot.
You'll damage the batteries.
I see.
So that's the beauty in a lithium. Now, a lithium also, the ones we've got, the ones we're offering on this deal, they have 7,000 charges.
I was going to ask, what's the life of it?
7,000 times it'll go down to the bottom and up, down to the bottom and up.
7,000, that's
Yeah,
a lot.
and so I asked him, is that like 365 times a year, or is that double that a year, or whatever it is? I mean, you're looking at, and I think there's a 5-year warranty on it or something. It's a really nice program. And what I like about this equipment, it's all installed.
Yeah.
We will be covering this up with a nice cabinet
Okay.
that you won't see it. You can put a mirror on it, and it's behind the toilet on the wall.
And this is what Lucas was talking about, that this is in this case, this is in this case, that's in that case. Is that correct?
Well, no, I think he was mainly, and we don't have the lithium battery yet.
Okay.
So we're launching this because we got to have people buy it, and then we'll buy everything.
Okay.
These are the previous solars They're bigger units that
Okay.
we're offering now. But he was talking about how the lithium battery is in a metal case, all right? And if it catches fire, it will not spread. So
I see.
it's insured that way. And it's
makes it
UL,
super safe.
UL listed. These switch boxes will be different, but anyway, you won't see any of this. This
Okay.
will be in behind a cabinet.
Okay.
Now, it'll also have a device showing you your output of how much battery usage you've got left in your battery, where you're at, if it's charging, not charging, and that'll be on the outside of this little cabinet that we have.
Now, do we have to do, like I know, you know, how some things are back ordered and things like that. Lucas won't be ordering one battery at a time. Does he have a minimum that he has to order batteries, the more the better?
Well, of course, always the more the better. We've
Okay.
contacted our vendors, and you know, we were asking about if we order 100 batteries, 100
time.
inverters,
Yep.
and 400 panels.
Sure.
And as we do that, we can get a discounted rate. We've taken the chance.
So we can get ahead.
Well, we've taken the chance of offering for $5,000. If we only sell 5 of these, we're still going to buy them, even though we have to pay more
Right.
than if we ordered 100 at a time.
Right. I see.
So we don't know. I think it's an amazing feature. I think it's an awesome price to
I
have
do
an
too.
off-grid home. I was want to show you guys today. Think about taking a tiny box, a tiny home, and being able to take this anywhere you want and just turn the lights on.
Wow.
All right? Especially if you're in a really southern or west southwestern place or wherever, Colorado that gets a lot of sun, this,
If you're in Texas, Texas has
all
so much
that.
land.
Yes,
Lord.
you're going to have enough electricity. You don't have to run electricity to your house. Now, the
Amazing.
other thing you could say is, hey, what about my water? You got a
Absolutely.
gutter, and you collect your water like the old cisterns in a pump, and you're done. It's a simple process. It really is. The other thing is sewer. Sewer is a compost. Now, we're not including compost toilets in here. The only reason we're not is just the availability. I want to keep the house at 25,000. You start adding a toilet, start adding a tankless water
It
heater.
starts going
It
up.
starts going up more and more. And then we're at 27, 28, 30,000. I don't want to do that. 25,000. Remember, this home is made as a DIY. If you want a toilet and you want a compost toilet, all you do is take up the 2 screws on the bottom of that toilet, flush it first. I put a towel in mine. I stick a towel down in the toilet, and I drain I take a little cup and I get all the water out of the back of it.
Okay.
I stick a towel in the toilet part of it and I pick it up.
Okay.
And just take it out. Now you could even take the back of it off and lift that out in 2 pieces. It's a little bit lighter. You take it out, you put a plug in your sewer line, and then you set your compost right over top of that pipe,
Okay.
and you're done. Now you got a compost toilet that now your sewer's taken care of. All right. So it's kind of cool because this is something that you need to work out. It's not hard to do. A YouTube video will show you exactly how to do these things. A lot of people have done it. I just love the fact that you can walk in this house, flip the light on, run an air conditioner, cook, sleep, watch TV, charge your cell phones, live,
Yeah.
and you got your own
So
power
if you pulled
source.
somewhere like, you went to Wyoming, you went to Montana, you went somewhere like
Yeah.
that, and you just want to pull up beside a stream and camp for 2 or 3 days and fish
You're
and
set.
stuff, you're set.
You're set, Amanda.
You just have to have your water figured out.
And me personally, if I did that, I'm going to go out for 3 or 4 days. I'm probably going to have me a couple good-sized jugs of water in the house.
Yeah.
I'm going to warm it up on the stove. I might wash up a little bit, just if I'm camping like that,
Sure.
right? You don't need that. I would take water and supply it like that. If I got set up later and I'm going to do this, I'm going to live,
You're going to live at that piece
then I'm
of
going to get me a
property.
cistern. I'm going to get me a tank of water. I may put it in the ground, may set it on top of the ground. And all you need is an RV pump. And if you want to filter it, you can filter it through a charcoal or sediment filter and pump it into the house.
Okay.
Done. So the water's
And
not
then
a
it keeps,
big issue.
how you keep water filling back up to replenish it is just rainwater.
You can
correct?
use rainwater, or if you go to town, you're going to work or going something like that, you can fill up buckets of water or jugs of water, come back and fill up your tank.
Okay.
There's all kinds of different ways of getting that done. And of course, when you live off grid, you're always in a mindset of how much water I'm using, how much
Correct.
power I'm using, and what's going on.
Yep.
Toilet. let's say you don't want to compost. You don't want to spend $1,000 on a nature's head, which is the most simple one you can.
Yeah.
And now as we're getting into some personal things, because you're talking about using the bathroom, and what do I do with that, right? Now, I was going to say, no, me personally, I'm a one-time day guy, right? A one time.
Yeah.
So, depending on what you want to do, a lot of people have used a bucket, and they have used just a bag in a bucket.
Well, they have it at a lot of camping stores, things like that. I think they even have it at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
Things like that. You just get a bucket, and it even has a lid to it and all that kind of stuff. But, people use what? Sawdust, there's shavings you can use.
I put some sawdust in there, absorb the moisture and anything. You use your bathroom, take the bag, tie it up, and then you're either going to, dispose of it.
Do you throw it just in the trash?
Are
you supposed to? Or, diapers go in the trash. Baby diapers.
And a lot of people are going to know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to
More
it.
than me.
Yeah. Let us know. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you throw away a baby's diaper.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not going to say what to do to take to a landfill or whatever. You're going to throw it in a local dumpster or whatever, But you're right. Diapers, even elderly people that have diapers that wear, everybody, you disposed of it, right?
Dispose of them,
so,
correct.
But I'm just saying, there's ways of contending with and if you do get a compost toilet, you can make a homemade compost toilet, and it's just absorbing the liquids, separating the liquids from the solids, and it's really easy to compost. It's just contending with it. We have a lot of Airbnb people that have compost toilets, and you just have to take care of them.
So now when you do a compost toilet, so let's say it's full, because it turns, there's air, there's a fan that you have to have in there or whatever to dry it out. So once you pull all that out, do you put it in another compost thing to put that on your flowers and things like that? It's not something you'd put on your garden like your garden with your vegetables and stuff, but you would use that compost for other things, to grow flowers and stuff, or trees, or?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay, I didn't know.
Flowers and trees. And now, I'll say, I'm not versed in this.
Right.
I haven't studied it.
Right.
And haven't looked into it thoroughly. But I know when you remove the matter out of a compost toilet, it's not done.
Right.
Human waste sometimes takes up to a year to have it ready to put on the ground.
Really?
Now,
okay.
That's if you want to put it, it's completely degraded into a compost that's usable on any kind of edible plants.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll say, I know of people, I'm not going to say who they are, but I know of people that have outhouses that we're affiliated with, and they take their raw and they put it on their hay and their fields and everything.
Okay. Okay.
So they've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Me personally, I have purchased a compost bin. There are two of them. So I take fresh compost in this one, and it just aerates. You got to turn it and let it gets hot, and it ferments, and you turn it and you turn it. I know it sounds gross, but then you have two of them. One's older than the other.
Yes.
And then when that one's done, you flip it, go over to here, you start a whole nother generation of compost. And it's something that's,
Well, anybody who is doing off-grid, you're going to be researching all this stuff.
Yeah.
You don't just jump into it and be like, okay, what do I do? You're going to know about the solar, have somewhat information, the compost, and now what are you talking about, the tankless water heater? Because the other one is electric, so you wouldn't want to, explain that.
Well, some people don't want an electric water heater because they want to take a longer shower.
Okay.
Or they don't want to deplete their solar system that they have of heating just water.
Okay.
Well, like Lucas was saying, this system will heat electric water heater.
Sure.
All right, it'll heat it up. During the day when you're getting ample amount of sunshine, that's just an overflow. It'll heat your water all the time, all day. And then when you come home at night, you don't have to be heating that water heater anymore. You can turn it off, use the water heater, and then every day it'll regenerate warm water. Now, if you had a tankless water heater, you're only heating it when you need it, and the heat source is gas.
Okay.
So you're never using
So you would have to buy propane tanks, correct?
Yes, you have to have propane tanks. You got to keep them full, and you got to maintain that.
Okay.
Me personally, I like the electric. I like electric water heater. It's super simple to maintain. You burn out an element, you just take it out, put one in. We got a drain already hooked up to ours. You can drain it.
Okay.
If you've got enough electricity that's running during the day, why not have
Why not do it?
Why have another energy source that you've got to contend with of going to get
That
a tank,
you have to go buy
a bottle?
and fill and all that stuff.
I'd want everything electric.
Yeah.
They even make electric cookers that are really low amperage and takes a long time to cook. But why not do that instead of buying more gas?
Now, somebody had a question in one of the emails saying there's a vent, but there's no stove. But explain.
There's a vent and no stove. What does that mean?
Well, I guess like there's a vent.
Maybe there's a stove and no vent? I don't know.
No, I mean like that's in the Incred-I-Boxes.
There's not a vent.
Oh, okay, there's not a vent. Okay, well, I'm not sure what they were talking about then. I thought they were talking about the Incred-I-Box. But yeah, that's right. I'm not sure.
We don't put
but
stove
there's no
vents.
Stove. Yeah.
There's no stove, no vent.
No vent.
Mine, I
Okay.
use a hot plate. You know, open up a window or whatever.
Sure.
It's where I do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was a
works out
kid.
great.
I was a kid growing up. We had a range hood. It wasn't vented out. It was a charcoal vent. I remember I'd look up under the grossest thing. I'd look up underneath there. It's full of grease.
They all had grease. We never had one,
It's
so.
cake full, man.
But I had seen them before. Lord, there's grease underneath them because nobody cleaned them really.
Yeah. Man, I hate
Okay.
just sitting in front of this thing. We put this tripod out here to get you in front of this thing.
Oh, that's fine.
Ask some questions. What other questions you got?
Um,
Hey, how do you turn this thing around?
well, I don't have, you got to stop it and then.
Look at you.
My hat got sat on or something. It's all crooked. I don't know.
Well, what do you like about the solar, Amanda? I mean, this whole thing that we've got. I know you're not an off-grid kind of girl, you know,
Yeah.
but what do you think about
Can you
it?
see? I mean,
Yeah.
listen, we're not even wearing, look, I have my glasses on. I got these at the Dollar Tree. They're $1. Look. But I have a house dress on. My mama used to call her dress, she called it a house dress. She put on a house dress in the daytime and stuff.
Well,
But
there's
I don't-
nobody here today, and
Okay.
we'll relax.
Well, I don't even have red, white, and blue on, so it's not even
I
representative.
looked for a red, white, and blue shirt.
You've got blue on.
Well, I tried to get a blue something look somewhat.
It's ish. No, it don't go together.
Yep.
I mean, I've never ever once thought about. Were we in frame, or do we need to stop?
We
it
were
so
in
can
frame.
See? We were.
We're
Okay,
good.
We're
See,
in frame.
let me look at it again. Yes,
Okay.
you're perfect.
Okay.
Good.
I've never ever thought of solar. I've never thought of going off grid. Nothing like that ever. But this
Yeah.
interests me to no end because if I could take that, haul it with my truck. Okay.
You can.
And because I'm not one of these people that would ever do that, and pull them and stuff. But the way you talk and the way Matt talks and everybody's, even the people that's already took their homes,
Yeah.
they said it's so easy and it just feels like it's not even behind you.
Yes.
I would probably give it a go. Maybe go and try and go camp
Mm-hmm.
and see how it would go. Just knowing that that is an option for only $25,000.
You have your electrical.
I can't
Everything electrical is supplied.
That kind of blows me away
I love it.
because I've heard you and Lucas talk over the years, and I've seen the numbers, I've seen the money of solar.
costs.
So expensive.
Yeah.
I just can't even believe it. And it's of course, we were always told that people that ask about solar and all that stuff, they already know it's going to be expensive. What
Correct.
they're wanting to do, it'll be the long term that they get, the benefit out of it, So they know up front that it's going to be really expensive. But I mean, we're talking the house is $20,000 and it's only another $5,000 for solar.
You don't have to run electricity anywhere. It's self-contained.
That's
You can use a bucket to use a bathroom and wash up in the sink. I mean, if you really, really got down to it,
Yeah.
you don't need infrastructure to live in this house.
Well, I'm telling you, I would just like to have this option. I would like to have this at any time that I wanted it. So
Yep.
you know what? I would like for my kids to have this option. I'm really going to talk to them about this.
Yep.
My kids are not off-grid type people. My son, my youngest son especially, he's a city guy. He lives out there at the house where I do, but he was raised out there, but he likes the city. He likes all his, he's just not that type of
His
kid.
gaming and all. Yeah.
His gaming and all that kind of stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. We have all those things, my
Yeah.
daughter and all that stuff. My daughter, more than anything, I think she would do it because she's got that much of mom in her and got that much of me in her. She'd give it a whirl. Okay, well, if this is what I've got to do, but I want them to know how to do that and to just be able to not even have a great big old huge truck that they have to haul this around. They can manage that.
Yeah.
And still have modern conveniences. We're talking still have AC and everything.
Well, I knew I did a job.
Blows me away.
I did a job up on the lake in Tennessee years ago.
Yeah.
And it was through the winter, and I knew we were framing. We had no home to live in. We had nothing. We had to live in a camper, right? And I remember going into the camper. We had one of them tent campers pop up. And I remember going in there, and it was 4 of us, and everybody was freezing to death. It was just like they were canvas walls.
Yes.
So we're in there freezing. I had a 10 below zero sleeping bag.
Oh my gosh.
I had it, and those guys didn't have one.
Right.
I remember I'd get down in my underwear and get in that thing. I was
Yeah.
warm as could be. But you
yeah.
get up in the morning, it's freezing,
to
right?
death.
So, and I look back now, and I'm thinking I could have had 4 bunks
Yes.
in this thing, and had a kitchen,
Great
bathroom, everything, and we would have been warm, dry, and happy.
Well, and think about this. I mean, here's all these guys. I mean, I never was into hunting or nothing like that, but oh my God, go hunting.
Perfect.
There's 4 of you.
My cousin in West Virginia, he's hauled an RV up in them mountains on them strip mines. He could take this right here up in the mountains and have electricity and watch TV, kick back in the evenings, and feel like they're at home.
Okay, has anybody ever been to West Virginia? Randy took me to West Virginia. I'd never been before. So, and the first time we went, was it in the motorhome?
Probably.
28-foot motorhome, right? Was it 28 or 32? Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, so the motorhome going down through this road, and I chose to look outside. Literally, the motorhome was the width of the road. Okay.
On a 2-lane road.
On a 2-lane road. Here is, I'm looking out the window. Here is just a drop off. And then you have, the people there don't have yards. It's just a road, there's a house, and a mountain right behind it. So nobody has a yard. I don't think anybody mows. They can't sell mowers there. There's no way. But when you took that motorhome, I was like, I about passed out. I had no idea. But we're talking, it was a great big wide. How wide are they? I don't even know.
It's regular 8 foot.
Yeah, whatever it was. But anyway, these.
But it feels like you're driving a house down there with a big windshield.
Well, of course,
and
it felt like it was a house. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was.
So what are you going with this story?
I don't know. I forgot. What was I saying? I don't know. What was I saying?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it was just.
You're talking about going to West Virginia.
Going about.
And probably you're going to talk about them strip mines that we went up and camped on.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we took your dad's truck.
Yep.
Yeah, we took his.
But if you had a tiny home.
Yes.
Those strip mines in places that are beautiful.
Yes.
Because they're beautiful grassy areas. And I told Greg, my cousin, I said, Greg, what are they doing with these strip mines? And this was my dream long ago.
Yeah.
I said, Greg, these strip mines will now be uninhabited for the next 50 years or more.
I know.
All we need is living homes that don't need infrastructure.
But who owns it? The government?
No, they're privately owned.
Are they?
Yeah, but what they've done is they've taken all the minerals and the coal off of them. Then they've revegetated them with ground cover.
Yeah.
The biggest deer you've ever seen. The most gorgeous views of they're gorgeous. And I'm thinking this land is sitting there unused forever, right? Why can't we put an off-grid community on these strip mines in West Virginia? This was my dream long ago. Is I wanted to put a factory in West Virginia for people that are running out of mine.
Yes.
The work is because mine goes up and down.
Yeah, right. And that's all they've done their whole lives.
They could build homes, and then you're putting housing for $20,000 or $25,000 now with the solar package included. Man, they could actually live without running infrastructure.
Unbelievable.
And I wanted to put this idea out to you guys. If you're a landowner, like a strip mine, but let's say you're a landowner of just an acre, 1 acre, and it's zoned for whatever you wanted to do.
Right.
You can actually call me, right? And let's just say you're in New Mexico, or you're in Illinois, or you're in South Dakota, wherever you're at. And you're going to say, you know what? I've got some land that I want to invite somebody to live on my land for a rental.
But what does a person have to do to get that approval, or to find out if they're able to put one of these Incred-I-Boxes? Okay,
first thing you do is find out is a gray water system available.
Okay.
All right, so gray water is everything but your toilet.
Everything but your toilet.
So if you can, in the state of Tennessee, they will not allow you to have a
Put
gray
gray
water
water.
system. Like, I can't build my own. I have to have a
Right.
state inspected sewer system, even for gray water.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a whole lot of states, and I'm going to tell you, in Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
if you do not live in the city limits of any town in the state,
Right.
90% of the people separate their gray and black, and
Mm-hmm.
they put their gray water out on the ground.
I've always known that.
Because they
my
don't want to
whole life.
max out
Right.
their sewer
septic
system, their
tank.
septic tank.
Yeah.
So it's already done. The state
And you
is
know
just
what?
behind.
I have to say, I'm surprised by Tennessee. I'm surprised
They
by
didn't.
that.
They did not know what a compost toilet was 4 years ago when I went up above the board in Nashville.
I mean, I still have a outhouse at my house.
Yeah.
I never had it torn down or nothing.
You don't
I mean,
use it, but it's
well, I
there.
mean, if I had to use it, I would. But I
Yeah.
mean, but I've got all the woods,
Right.
you know. But I mean, I'm surprised by Tennessee.
So what you have to do is you got to find out if the state allows you to have a gray water system.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then if there's any, you can do the zoning. Find out there's a zone. Hey, can you have multiple dwellings on your land or whatever it is? Can you have? Amanda, there are just places in the country.
Yeah.
You can drive from here to California, and there's some states that you won't see a human being for
Well,
500 miles.
you talked about when you drove through Texas and Wyoming and
Texas, yeah.
places. Oh my God, there's so much land.
Yeah.
What do you do
It
with
frustrates me to think that you have that much land
I know.
and you can't put a tiny home on it.
Yeah, I know.
So there are land you can put it on, man. It's not that restricted. I know we get a lot of calls, well, I can't put it, can't put it.
know.
You can. There are lots of places to do it. Right now, there's places here in Tennessee, there's all kinds of tiny homes
Yeah.
that are on on restricted land.
They are, yeah.
And
That
they're
is
doing.
right.
You know,
That is
there's
right.
in Sevier County, which is Gatlinburg, Sevierville,
Yeah,
there's tiny homes all over that county,
I know. I've heard.
and they're not running them off.
I know.
Okay, so everybody, I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, if you've got some land and you want to put some tiny homes on it, you can make some residual income.
Yes.
So we do have customers saying, hey, where can I put this house?
Right.
Like the young lady from Seattle.
Yes.
She's going back to an RV park in Seattle. Now, she
Yes.
probably has to live in the city because she works in the city or whatever.
Right.
But if she wants to move out of the city, and you all as landowners want to provide maybe an economical place for people to live, charge them a couple. I'm charging $200.
Yes.
We're charging $200 to $300. You provide that place, and it's a
Right.
nice. Think about it, a nice, secure place that's really clean and nice, and you charge them $300 a month.
And two, this, and we will read this tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have it screenshotted on my other phone, but there is a guy, it could have been a lady, I can't remember, but I feel like it was a guy, sent me the whole breakdown of like what was going on in Seattle and talking about the prices. And I think the lot was, the lot was $800 or it was $1,200. I don't know what it was, but it was a whole big,
Just to park a camper?
yeah, there was a bunch of stuff going on. So we want to share some of that information tomorrow as well, because people are just charging these poor people. The people want to live there. They need a place to live. They need housing, but people are charging just astronomical.
Yeah. A ton. Well, and we talked about this in a video.
Yeah.
When the rental of an apartment is $2,000 to $3,000,
Yes.
the people that own the lots now are saying, well, they can't get anywhere else. We're going to charge $1,000.
know.
So everything's going up. And like I told you, that guy, I think his name was
that.
William Berry, who foreseen the big fall in 08. He's seen
Yeah.
it coming, and he said he bases the next one coming on our greed. So we're forcing everybody to go out of business.
I know. We got to stop.
Where are we going to go if you can't afford? There were some people I talked to. They got, the lady from Seattle. I think 70% of her income was going to paying rent.
Yes.
You should never-
70%.
You should never exceed more than 30.
30. Right.
And that's high at 30.
That's terrible. Well, and the guy made a point too that, and I will read his comment tomorrow so you can get the full exactly what he said. But he was talking about that, they have these trailers there that they're charging just the trailer, not the lot, just the trailer, $100,000 for a 40-year-old trailer. And he said banks aren't lending the money. So it's crazy what's going on, what they're charging, what people are expecting.
Yes.
People's got to have a place to live. Then they end up having roommates, and then it's turned into, as I usually call things that's crazy and stuff, I call it clown town. It's like, it's going nuts, man.
It is.
So maybe this could help to slow it down or to change people's
Exactly.
minds in a way. And, you know, Randy wants to be an example to the rest of the country too, saying, hey, listen, we know we could get more per month for these lots. Choose not to. We want people to be able to live. We want people to buy their groceries and buy some extra stuff on their house and fix it up. And people are out here, they're doing such wonderful things that we're seeing. They're buying plants and all kinds of decor, and they're building onto their little porches and stuff like that. They couldn't do that if we were charging $700-800 a month for lot rent. I mean, they'd just be staying in their houses, and they would never change. They would never look any better because they can't afford to.
Exactly.
Who wants that?
Yep.
So,
and that's what I told somebody before. I said, they said, why are you asking for $20,000 on a lot? Of course, and I told them, I said, you know, our lots are made for people who coming to stay for a long time.
To stay.
You're staying longer than 5 years.
yes.
Okay, if I did not get that deposit, or not deposit, but whatever you want to call it, you're giving me $20,000 for that lot. You don't own it,
No.
but you're there to live forever.
Yes.
Renew your lease, it's there. The thing is that I'm just charging the $300 a month. If you stay there longer, now let me back up. If I did not have the 20, I got to borrow the 20.
That's
So I'm
right.
going to go to the bank, I'm going to borrow the 20. I've got to pay that debt off, right?
Yeah.
How am I going to pay it off?
Right.
I'm going to charge
You have to charge more.
$700-800
I know.
a month per lot.
We don't want to
I
do
have to
that.
pay my debt.
I know.
So we're helping each other. I'm keeping the payment down low. So if you're longer there than 5 years,
Yeah.
and you're only paying $300 a month rent for the next till you're gone, or whatever it is, the duration of you being there, you're coming out way ahead.
Way ahead.
Way ahead of the game of instead of paying $700-800 a month.
Right.
Where you go everywhere else in the country, you're going to pay that.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I'm sure there's people saying, and this is how technical I'm. I know people are saying, "Well, I don't have to pay." There's places I know of 3. Of course there are.
Well, and that's fine.
And you can move in and go.
And that's good. Yes.
We're doing this system the way we're doing it across
Yeah.
the street. We're trying to stay out of debt. Get this. We don't owe a bank a thing.
No.
We don't owe investors anything. We don't owe any money to anybody. So
And that wasn't easy to do either.
No, it's
That
still hard.
It's still hard.
And so the
Yeah.
thing is that because we're paying for it as we go, the recession is not going to be hard on us so hit. So if the whole world collapses,
Yeah.
we're going to weather this storm out
We got
for a
a
while.
place- we're all here.
The wolves ain't coming to the door. We're going to be able to say, hey, we're good. Let's weather this
Because
out.
let me tell you something. When it happened in 2008 and we finally ended up leaving, in 2009 or 2010, we didn't get to stay. It was tossed out, man.
Ordered us out.
Ordered us out.
I ain't doing it again. My trucks
Tossed
were
out.
repossessed. Everything was taken from
Everything
me.
was taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what it's like.
We're talking zero, like no money in the bank, no money to borrow, no money at all. The only thing that we luckily had was my house. That was the only thing, and that was literally right before we lost the resort. It's the only reason that I have my place today.
Yeah.
It's the only reason. It's the only thing that saved.
Yeah.
And then you stayed with Young over there.
Well, I had to go to a friend's piece of property on a friend's camper.
Yeah.
I had nothing.
Nothing.
And luckily I had an older truck they didn't want. They said it was worthless.
Yeah, it's the only reason you got to keep that truck.
They said it's too old. Anything older than 10 years they
Yeah.
didn't want.
You kept your tools that we ended up selling
At a flea market.
At the flea market, I-81 in Morristown. We were there.
Yep.
We sold everything, and we're talking nothing. You know how when you talk to some people, we've talked to people, oh, I lost everything, and they still had a house, they still had this.
Or a piece of equipment.
Or a piece of
or a way-
equipment, or
yeah.
they had some way to make a living. We didn't have nothing, literally nothing.
Yeah, I remember.
Tough.
I remember the tools we had to auction or sell off at a flea market.
Yes.
That was.
That was so hard.
And then we had, so back at Brothers Cove, some of the banks and owners, someone had called up and said, hey, we got all these mattresses we don't know what to do with.
Oh God, don't make me cry.
So we got all these mattresses.
This
They
was
just gave them
tough.
to us. And we had a friend that he's 20 years younger than me, and he didn't get hit like we did. I was the one that taught him carpentry.
taught him.
I taught him everything.
Yeah.
And he did a flea market for us. And
A
was
yard sale.
A yard sale.
In his
It was a
yard.
yard sale. Now listen, so I'm 20 years older. Here's a kid that I trained to be a carpenter. He didn't get hit with the big hit like I did.
No.
And we had to have a yard sale in his front yard.
Yeah.
and they made $186 that day.
Yeah.
I was trying to sell old mattresses.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing I think I've ever done.
It was very tough.
Sitting there in the sun all day selling trinkets and
Yeah.
stuff that was just stuff
And we
that
did it.
the banks and
Yeah.
the homeowners in Brothers Cove didn't want. And we trucked over there. And at the end of the day, we had only sold about $40 worth of stuff. And then
Yeah.
Jeremy had probably $180 on whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I said, Jeremy, you know, he didn't know what to do with those mattresses.
Yeah.
So he let us use his truck and trailer, piled, I mean, we're talking like 16 mattresses on this trailer.
Oh my God, it was awful.
And I was like, what are we going to do for food, man?
yeah.
And I was like, God, what are we going to do? And
We needed groceries.
yeah, and I remember walking to the truck, and here's a kid that I gave money to. I helped out. I gave him the, you know, because I love this guy. He was an awesome kid, you know.
Yeah.
He's Tom's brother-in-law.
Yeah.
And he came up to me and he said, hey, I'm going to give you the rest of the money we made all the day. It was $160, $80.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah, and he gave us that.
That was all we had.
And that was it. And I was like,
That's all we had.
God, how much lower can I go?
Yeah.
And so then he gave me his truck and trailer to haul the mattresses away from me because he didn't want them.
Yeah.
And then you drove it and rode it in the ditch and tore the fender up and had to pry it out with a fence post.
I have never pulled anything. I've never hauled anything, nothing. Randy told me to jump up in this great big old truck.
Yep.
This great big old
Well, I was
trailer.
doing another truck with
Randy
about
was
broke down.
Well, he let me drive the truck because it had AC. It was Jeremy's. And Randy took the truck that didn't have AC because it was very hot. I said, I don't know how to drive this. He said, drive it like your car. I went, well, okay. Well,
I didn't think.
I did.
We had to go across this little bridge first, right? And she just turned. And when she did, the trailer was longer and it cut the corner of the bridge and had a big abutment on it. She knocked this big concrete abutment into the creek.
Huge.
The fender hit it, bented the fender, dug into the tire. And I'm looking back and she's.
I didn't know I was supposed to swing out and do
Yeah,
it. He
it's
said,
like-
drive it like my car.
So
I've
here
never
we are
swung
stuck
out
on
in
the
my
side of the
life.
road, And I said, man, you got to
It
get
was
off the road.
awful.
I said, pull into this side road. We're out in the country.
Oh,
And I had to have some kind of bar to pry the fender
was
away from the
awful.
tire because it wouldn't go anywhere.
nowhere.
It was
Hot.
end of the day, all day long at this yard sale. So I look over in this field,
It was terrible.
and here's the iron post for a fence, barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
Well, they actually had an old post laying in the ditch right there, and I grabbed that post up and I put it in there, and I'm prying that fender away from that tire. God, it was so hard.
Not our trailer. It was Jeremy's
trailer.
All of Jeremy's stuff.
Had all them beds on it. Well, finally, I worked about an hour and I got that thing. God, I got it. It was hard, man. I finally got it in
Yeah.
there. The fender was really big steel, but I bent it odd enough. We got it to your house, unloaded those
Yeah.
mattresses.
Those mattresses were at the house for a long time.
How do you get rid of a mattress, right? So we finally got rid of those
I
things.
think we
But
ended up burning them.
all them stories said,
Yeah.
an Incred-I-Box.
What a big deal that would have been. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I live in a
Yeah.
Incred-I-Box right now. I'm debt free.
yeah, 100%.
I got an Incred-I-Box. I got a place to live forever.
We will make sure that we will never be in that position
I ain't
again.
doing
I'm telling you, we were the least, well, like everybody, it wasn't
Yep.
just us. No one was prepared for what happened. No one was prepared.
No.
It was just the luck of the draw that I
thief-
even had my house.
A thief in the
Yes.
night came and took everything.
Came and took everything from everybody. It was bad. And we're not doing that again. And this
No.
right here, we will all have one of these before
My
we do
truck's
that again.
paid off. My house is paid off.
Yep.
My clothes are paid off. And listen, I don't have
And we don't do things like nothing.
No.
We never really did bad, but we know
The business.
we were just talking about this, how easy that bankers made it. Randy would sign something.
no money down
Yeah, he just signed
on
his
your
name.
signature.
He just signed his
Yeah.
name.
You know, and you guys have seen the movie Big Short, and there's so many great examples in there about
Yes.
how people were able to get loans on their signature that didn't even have proof of income.
They didn't even have to,
And
yeah.
that's what they're saying is based on greed. The banks, the loan officers, and everybody were making money no matter if
Yes.
the people defaulted on their loans or not.
Right.
But when they started looking, the smart guys like that William Berry, I think that's his name, looked into saying, he started looking, he said, how, we've got these many loans that are out. He said, if these loans went bad, the whole market's going to be flipped upside down.
Yeah.
So he bet against the market, and he won, of course.
Yeah, right.
But it was looking at it, and he said he based it on greed. So when you see bankers not loaning smart
Yes.
to people, so it's like this. I love the movie The Wonderful Life, right? It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
You remember when that was in the Depression?
Yes.
And it hit, and everybody rushed his bank, and he was getting ready to go on a honeymoon, and he couldn't. And in the end, he ran to the bank, and here's all these people wanting their money. They got scared.
Yeah.
They said, "You're not going to have money here, because the market has crashed."
Yes.
He said, "Listen, everybody, you don't need to draw it out. I'm your friend. I'm here. I'm not going to loan. We're not going to. Your money's in here. Let's just stay here with it." He looked at Joe and he said, "Joe, how much money do you really need, man?" He said, "Well, $20 to buy some groceries this week."
Yeah.
"Joe, is $20 enough?
Okay.
Let me give you 20, buddy. The rest of it's here. But let's calm down and let's get this thing worked out.
Right.
It's going to work its way out." Of course, some people say, "I want my money now," and he's gave it to him. But because he had a rapport with people
Right.
in the community, he helped them in their homes. He helped them get their kids in college.
Right.
He helped them get a car loan. He helped them when they needed $100 or $200 added on.
Yeah.
He would loan them that.
Right.
And so he was their banker friend.
Right.
Banks used to be that way, Amanda.
Banks used to be that way, and
they're not anymore.
And we needed somebody to do that with us, and they did not, and they didn't with our friends or anybody else that was
Yeah.
around, and we all lost.
If I ever get to be in that kind of realm or that kind of position,
Yeah.
I hope that I can do that. And I'm trying to do
know.
that in these homes here
Yeah.
that we're doing. Everybody tells me, "Randy, why don't you ask more money instead of 20 grand?
He hears it all the
Why
time.
don't you do it? Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it?" It's
know.
like, stop. We have not hit mainstream yet.
No.
And
We've
I want
not.
it. And I know these videos don't go out to, 8 or 10,000 people, if that. And it's majority of our regular customers. That's why we need you to share this video and all of our videos, and especially the Incred-I-Box video, that you're actually going to help people. You're going to help us sell, but you're going to help people buy these homes that don't know anything about us. Just like the
Right.
lady in Seattle, that she found us, and now she's got a home for her and her boy for 20 grand.
Right.
And there was several people that pitched in that got her that house.
Yeah,
And then a
exactly.
friend flew her in and came and got her house for her.
We've got
And
to,
people were helping each other.
And we're not trying to scare you or anything like that, but we've got to be smart. We've got to be,
I
we've
am.
got to, we're prepping for, we do not want to go through what we went through again. We want to
Yeah.
make sure, and we don't want you to go through what you probably went through again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and luckily, thank goodness, during the pandemic, we didn't have to lay a person off. We got to keep working.
Right.
Thank goodness. We were lucky on that. So that was very telling, during that time, we
Right.
didn't shut down.
No.
You
And
know?
I'm hoping that if times do get harder financially for the
Yeah.
country, which I hope it never does.
I hope it don't either.
But if it does, people might be scrambling for these little houses for their families. I know me and my boys would have slept in this for a year.
Oh, totally, you guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
We'd have loved being in there.
We'd have done, and just like most people, you do whatever you have to do to survive. And yeah.
So it's like 90 out today. It's a little warm. It's
It
July
is.
4th. It's supposed to be hot.
Yeah.
I got my little air conditioner.
All's good.
It's nice and cool in there. That air conditioner will run with our solar that we have provided in this deal at 25 grand.
Yep.
It'll run all day long. You keep your cool, like Lucas said, keep these cooled.
Yep.
It's like an igloo cooler.
Keep 'em cool.
A Yeti cooler, let's say. And if you put them in there and at night it kicks on periodically, it'll keep you cool throughout the night. That's if you even need air conditioning.
Right.
There's a lot of people don't need air conditioning.
Yeah.
But if you're in South Texas, you're in Arizona, you're in some of these southern states, yeah, you're going to want air conditioning.
Absolutely.
But you only need it during the night to kick on and off.
Yeah.
Think about it, a power source that will keep you cool, right? And of course, the winter you got a stove or something else
Right.
you could use. It'll run a little heater too,
Right.
Rachel out here, she was here with Joe and
Yeah.
asked her how her air conditioning was doing.
Yeah.
She said, "Randy, it's in her window, but her air
Is
conditioner
it in the bathroom?
Yeah, I put it in
Okay.
the bathroom right now. But the veins on it angled straight to the door. Mine hits the wall, so it's not as efficient. Hers hit the opening, and it blew all the way across the room.
Okay.
And she said, "Randy, I have to keep it on half."
Wow.
She goes, "It froze me out of there."
Yeah.
And it's been in the 90s already here. And I was like, "You're kidding." She goes, "I'm telling you, I love the house."
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're in the hot.
Well, and another thing too, and we're not gonna talk about what we we talked about over the weekend, Saturday and yesterday,
Right.
and
Today.
today and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we probably will later this week. So
Definitely
we got something coming up that we want to talk to you about. One of the other things I just kind of want to add to it, to maybe put in your brain, if you got a sister, you got a brother, you got your kids, something like that,
Yeah.
maybe you want to go in half with them.
Yep.
Do something a little bit safe. Divide it up between 3 of you. You know, with my kids and that, maybe everybody put in a little bit. Get one, test it out. Just see, you know, instead of having all the costs coming up on you. So a best friend, hey, you want to go in together and maybe do one of these just so I don't know. So don't figure out different ways.
Well, I look back at when we first started this business.
Yeah.
And I always look back now and I'm thinking about me and what we're offering. And I thought, you know what, if I would have ran into somebody like Randy Jones and what he's offering,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I would have just come to you and said, my goodness, you know, I had to come up with $15,000 to build our first house from a friend, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you come up with the $20,000 from a
Right.
couple friends. I would say to them, hey guys, I'm going to buy this house from ITH, but I'm going to buy it, I'm going to fix it up, and I look at the market. A home that has all that it has, I can put a little sweat equity into it, and I think I can turn a few $1,000s for all of us. So let's pitch in.
Do we know anybody that has done that? I
No,
don't really
and
know
I don't know
anybody,
why they don't.
and I don't know why they don't either. Now I know that the majority need a home.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Right.
And then some of them have sold it afterwards. It didn't either going tiny didn't work out, or they went, because we've had some people that came where and they missed home and they had to went back to grandkids and kids and things like that. But we have not had anybody specifically that we've been told that bought it to turn it. But you could.
Right. These
You
people,
could.
you know, the ladies that live in this community,
Yes.
if they got along and they trusted each other, said, hey, they all pitched in $5,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And they bought maybe even a solar one, right?
Yeah.
And they all painted it and decorated it and put flower boxes on it and had it all prettied and stuff. Then they could sell it for another $10,000 on top of that.
know.
It's a gorgeous home.
Yeah.
And they could split the money and do it again.
Well,
they
and
can
you'd
do
make
that
more money doing that than you would sticking it in the bank now. You can't stick it in the bank, make
or
anything.
you're working for yourself. You're not punching a clock down here, maybe at a grocery store or at a
Right.
bank or something, and you get to have fun and work.
Well, and two, and you go to a lawyer, have one paper drawn up, and everybody, this is what's going to exactly happen. So, you know, you just get with people that you trust and write a little something
Well,
up.
if you
and
trust them, I just like, let's shake on it.
Go pay $50 to the lawyer and just get a paper and just sign it.
But
and
there's
stamp.
opportunities, and the opportunity is only because our homes are priced so low.
Absolutely. It's
All right.
the only way we can do it.
So everybody goes to me, Randy, it's worth 25 or better. Why
know.
don't 25 all
Why
day
don't
long?
you? Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's say I'm just giving you $25,000 worth of equity.
Yes.
So it's worth 25 now. So you got you got a $5,000 equity value built into that home. Go fix it up like she was like from Seattle.
Sure.
She's going to put barnwood on it and some really cool details. I'm just so pretty
Add
stuff,
to
right?
it.
When she does that, that's adding to the 5,000.
Absolutely.
You may be, when you're done, it may be worth 10,000 more than what you paid for it. If you sold that, you're getting paid for your sweat equity, plus you're getting paid for your $5,000 that it was worth when you bought it. You got 10 grand. Get another one.
I know.
Do it again. Now you got 20,000.
Yeah.
And now you bought one debt free.
I know.
All day long.
I know.
Even if you cut that in half and you only make 5,000. If you do it 4 times, your house is paid for.
This right here, and we're going to wrap it up because I know we're going a
I'm
little
getting
bit
excited,
long.
man.
But we've been excited about this all weekend and talking about different scenarios. But we're going to wrap this up with, this is a part of being independent on Independence Day.
Yeah.
Be thinking about getting yourself independent. How can I be more self-reliant for my life and others, your kids and everybody else? So think forward like Randy does. Randy thinks not forward just in the future. He goes through lifetimes, I think, of going forward, of things like that. So he's always thinking, always trying to better. And this, on Independence Day, here in 2022, this is an absolute great opportunity to become more independent, and what's more American than working hard, being fair. I think being American should be a fairness too.
Yeah.
Don't gouge people, and do, the golden rule, do unto the others as you'd have them do unto you. So,
Yeah, I got it.
that's not a religious
Everybody's
thing.
forgetting that.
That's a human thing.
And they're forgetting it.
They're forgetting it.
You know,
So
and there's a lot of people protesting
all kinds of
the
stuff.
country, and
Yeah.
you know, and you know what? I agree. There's a bunch of stuff that's not going right here. But you know what? The one thing that I base our country on more than anything, the cost of living might be crooked, and the dollars and the politicians and everything
Sure.
else might be crooked, and I don't know anything about that. But I know one thing, that we came to Cobb County with not a dime in our pocket.
no.
And we were able to make something of it
Yeah.
because of this country's freedom, that it gave me the ability to
Yes.
do what I wanted to do. This county, Cobb County,
Yes.
has given me the freedom to build this building,
Yeah.
to build that building,
Right.
to build communities here. And everybody here should be so proud of Cobb County because the freedom they've given us.
Yes.
This county is like stepping back in time.
It is.
It is so wonderful because we can do what we want to make things happen.
That's
and the
right.
better people that comes in here, because of that freedom, you have a responsibility to do what's good so that freedom's not taken away. And that's what's happened.
That's
People
right.
take advantage of that freedom and build crappy stuff.
Yeah.
And then people get hurt. People get taken advantage of. And you know what then they do? They set up laws
I know.
to
exactly.
protect people.
And that takes your freedom
Then
away.
they got zoning, and it's only because we've taken advantage of each other.
I know.
Stay
We're
on
doing
the
it
course.
to ourselves. Yeah.
Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you.
Absolutely.
If you don't
Be
want to be
fair.
paying $1,000 a month rent or $2,000,
charge.
don't charge
Don't
it.
charge that.
Charge what you got to have to get going. And I know you're going to say, well, everything else is going up, and if I don't charge, I can't keep up with the flow. Well, you know what? You got to start somewhere. And that's patriotism.
Yeah.
It's to be able to say, you know what? I know my bread and my gas and everything's going up more, and I should charge more because everything else is going up.
Right.
But if you stop, maybe somebody else will stop, and somebody else will stop,
Yeah.
and somebody else will stop. We need to stand up
Yeah.
for our independence. We need to
Right.
stand up. We had to separate from England,
Well,
and that's what this
yeah.
is all about. We separated from England to be our own people,
Right.
right? And that's what we need to be, is our own people in this company. And I think this company is setting the pace for that, Amanda.
Well, and I think what people are doing too, they're basing what they need to pay off their bills. That's why they're charging people so much. Don't base that off of what you got to have, and don't base it off of, oh, I'm going to quit working at 55, and then I'm going to go live on a beach and sip margaritas.
Everybody I know that is bored.
Everybody, listen, everybody. I mean, we need to work.
There's
You need to work. You need to have something to do every day.
retirement came. I think it was Roosevelt when he said, "Hey, let's have Social Security and you retire."
Yeah,
Before that, nobody retired.
yeah.
Cowboys ran a horse until they were dead.
I mean, work.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You work, man.
You work, and if you don't work, do charity work. Because I already said, if there was something to where I could get away from the office and things like that, and Randy's like this too, we love helping people. Go to a charity. Go to, Morristown out there. I used to take the boys out there to the Daily Bread, and I don't want to get crying because it's a very moving, it's a very emotional thing. But thank goodness they have these places. And they don't have those places unless there's people like you, people like me, people like Randy that volunteer and help these places. So really rethink this independence and how you can help somebody else be independent, how you can make yourself more independent, and your kids. If you don't have kids, help somebody else's kids, help your neighbor's kids, help somebody, give them information, jump in there, help them with their house. You wouldn't believe the people that I see out there helping each other in their homes and stuff now. These communities, the forest, the beach, and the prairie, they have really come full circle.
Yeah.
And I see more and more camaraderie and more help with each other than I've ever seen in my life. I'm really impressed by
Me too.
everyone. So
And we want to help with that too.
absolutely,
And Amanda, and we gotta
Well,
go.
no, we went on.
But people know they turn
I
it off.
know.
They don't want to listen. But you read them comments of the show from the girls from Seattle.
Yes.
And you were reading comments to me the other night because I don't look at them that much, and I like hearing her read them to me because they were so cool about what people were saying. And
Yeah.
we're in our little bubble here in Cobb County. We're
We
building,
are.
and I'm so absorbed into getting these houses built that I don't really get out much. And they were sharing how hard it is out there,
Yeah.
in parts of the country that are really getting bombarded with homelessness, and
So emotional.
getting not even just homelessness, getting bombarded with economic, like we were talking.
Yes.
The cost of living is so high. The housing market is so high. Sam, my own brother in St. Petersburg, Florida,
Yes.
he said You cannot live in the city limits of St. Petersburg unless you're a millionaire. The house that he lives in right now, back in the 80s, that thing sold for, I think, for 35, 40 grand.
Oh, now
it's a little bitty,
probably,
it's a little bitty box. It's not even 1,000 square foot house with almost a flat roof block building.
Yeah.
It's block, no insulation.
Right.
Right? It's a typical subdivision Florida house. I could, as short as I am, I could touch the ceilings. 300 grand.
Oh, I believe it. 100% believe it.
I cannot afford a $300,000 note. Man, it's a box.
I know.
In the backyard, we have bigger backyards here. These people living here than what he has.
I know.
300 grand.
Yeah.
So it is, there you go again.
Yeah.
We're heading down the road. We're heading to that brick wall where it's going to be another reset.
Yeah.
All right, we're all broke again. And then human nature, people want to just start digging out and getting all they can again.
I know.
If we can stop that here, that's what we're about as this company.
Yeah.
People say, well, why don't you charge more? Why don't you charge more? If it's human nature to want more and more and more. And you know what? It is until you've been slammed, until you've been through something in this life that the monks teach and preach. The religious leaders who are good people that are not money hungry themselves.
That's right.
Right? People that are spiritual, people that know what true happiness and how to obtain happiness in your life is not money.
Right.
We have to have money.
Yeah.
Big time. That's why we work our tail off here, is because we need money.
Yep.
Right? But at the same time, money is not the carrot.
Right.
That gives us, it doesn't get me out of the bed. Gets me out of the bed is, I thought this morning, the men that work here, if we start selling these the way I want to sell them, and we can get our 4 or 5 day quota out, and they're sold and they're going, do you know what kind of life these guys can live?
That we want them to live.
Do you know what kind of money they can make? They will not make the same money they're making now.
No.
Their pay will go up accordingly. Their benefits. What I will give them, I've been looking at wanting to buy some land and just put every guy in here a tiny home on, and they could put it on an Airbnb, and it could be a residual income for them as they get older.
Right.
We could implement our own retirement fund, our own everything, if people are committed to this.
You know, I have worked in, I don't know how many factories. I've probably worked in 10 to 12 factories since I was 18 years old. You know, and I've worked at different, like at I worked at Berkline, I worked at Sample Makers, I worked at the Anchor Brush, I worked at Helmet, I worked at KTN. I worked at a lot of factories, okay? So, and I've worked first, second, and third shift. I've worked all those shifts and stuff like that. And listen, your pay goes up by a quarter. Your pay goes up by 50 cents or whatever it is. And it stays. When their profits go up, you rarely go up with them. They cap you off. Yeah, they'll give you a little here and there. Yeah, you get Thanksgiving off and you get paid vacations, things like that. And I know that stuff adds up and stuff. But a lot of those factories give you the minimum of not their maximum is massive. You honestly think it's like, well, that's fair to it. You don't know how much they're making, which is great. They're supposed to make a lot of money. But if we make a lot of money, we want to take everybody with us. We want everybody else to make good money too.
When we got here, across the street is Phoenix.
Yes.
And guys, everybody over there drives a nice truck.
They sure do.
And Sunoco, they all drive nice trucks.
Yeah. We want everybody.
Our guys are crippling in here.
I know. We want them to have that.
Do you know that our pay now is up with Phoenix?
Yes, I did know that.
Yes, we are now paying as much as Phoenix. And more.
I did.
Now the only thing we're not into the benefits yet. We're done into some other things, and we're getting there. I'm so hoping that this catches on.
I know.
And the people that work here will love. And this is so non-pressurized business. The guys working here, and we're only working 4 days a week.
Yeah,
it's such a great lifestyle.
We wanted to do that for everybody.
If we can build what we need to build in 4 days, and we're out the door, and you get 3 days off, and you get benefits, and you get maybe a residual income because you've worked here so long, and because it's self-perpetuating.
And we want to keep these people. Right now, these people, no one wants to leave. Hardly anybody wants
Right.
wants to leave.
They asked me, how do you get guys to work?
How
I
do you
said,
get
"Man,
guys?" Yeah.
You know, I try to pay really well, and I hope I'm building an environment where people want to be here.
Yeah.
They don't feel like it's something that it's just a
Dreaded going
dreaded
in.
job, you know?
We don't want that.
And it's hard, you know, it's tough on me. There's a lot of responsibility, but it is getting better and better. And I'm thinking, you know, in the next 6 months, with our new solar incredible home and in our Incred-I-Box, and our regular Incred-I-Box, I love them. And listen, I know that there's people that say, I want a 30-footer, 24-footer, all that.
Correct.
I know that's fine.
I know, right.
Our price point is where it's at, and it's
Yeah.
an amazing. My idea is that we have not saturated the market. The world does not know who we are.
Right.
They just don't.
I know.
So we're going to pursue
We got some,
Portland,
we got
Portland,
some
Oregon
ideas.
this
Yeah.
week. We're going to pursue them because right now it is legal to have an RV in their backyard.
Yeah.
If I got to fly
need
out
help.
there, if I got
God,
to
they
truck
need
one of
help.
these out there, and we're going to paint it the Portland brown and green that they have out there, I don't want to paint it, get it out there and advertise it with the local TV, radio, newspapers, people, whatever clubs they got, and tote it
Right.
around constantly around town and let everybody know it's $20,000.
That's right. So
We got to quit talking.
we got to quit talking, for goodness sakes. You
know
know
what?
what? They're
They're probably not even watching.
No, they're not watching. You know what?
Eating
They're
watermelon.
eating that watermelon, and they're maybe people's jumping in the creek or lake or something like that.
I might
so-
go get me a watermelon.
Well, there you go. Get you a watermelon.
I know we're not supposed to eat watermelon because
Oh, wait a minute. That's right, because of our carnivore. Anyway, that's another show. We want to do a little bit on that show this week
man
too.
has lost 30 plus pounds.
I have, yeah, exactly. But but we want to talk about that but that's going to be a separate show. So
Yeah.
Happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July, ever how you recognize it and however you see it. American made. You can do it. We've been at nothing and we're climbing back up, and we're helping others to try to pull themselves up from their bootstraps. That's what you want to do. You don't want to hold. What fun is it to keep everything in for yourself?
Yeah.
Share it with everybody else. So
You can have a big old boat, but you be on it by yourself.
that's right. How fun is that?
I'd rather be in a rowboat with about 10 of my buddies and we're about ready to swap it. That'd be so much more fun.
I won't be in a boat at all. So anyway,
Yeah.
Happy Independence Day.
All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks. I got to reach around and turn it off.
Oh yeah, exactly. So act like you don't see him walking away.
I'm gonna do like
Okay,
this.
just do that.
Hi, everybody.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Happy 4th.
And it turned off a long time ago.
No, it did not.
I don't know when it stops. It says low battery.
Oh no. No, it kept going. It kept going. Did he smile? Yeah.